Tonight, all of our fiction in the store is 20% off, so please take a minute to browse the fiction section. That also includes the books by our featured readers tonight. And we are very excited to be welcoming our featured readers. We have 3 really wonderful genre writers, and we're going to start off the evening with Nancy Smith. Nancy Smith is a freelance writer of novels, including The Universal Vaccine, The Slow Kill, Tainted Harvest, as well as screenplays and short stories. She is also a filmmaker, script analyst, and script supervisor. Nancy is the owner of First Look Script Analysis, operating since December 2005, and First Look Publishing, operating since 2016. She lives in Austin, Texas. Nancy.
Thank you. I appreciate you all coming out this evening. I'm going to be reading from Tainted Harvest. It's a book about Tituba, who was the first person accused of witchcraft in Salem in 1692. I tried to do 2 things that were different with this book than with any other books of that I've read. One is I tried to give a sense of her whole life, not just the 9 months during the hearings for the witch trials. And if you think about it, you really can't think of much of anything that you know about those people except what happened in that time period. The second thing I tried to do was put forth a plausible theory that did not involve witches. There are no witches in this book. It starts with the assumption that the Puritans loved their children just as much as anybody. So this book opens in 1694. Tituba was born in, she lived on a savanna that bordered the Orinoco River in South America, probably somewhere around Venezuela. She was 12 at this point in the book. So that's where I'm going to start. This is really unsteady.
Wait, I can fix it.
That's okay. I can handle it. Okay. So this is the first chapter. It's not the beginning of the first chapter. It's closer to the end of the first chapter. What's happened before is you get a little sense of her family life. There are traders coming up on a British ship, the Savoy, who neighboring tribes have said it's okay to trade with. They are aware to be cautious of white people, but they have also been assured that this is a trading exposition. So this is where I'm starting. So we knew it was unwise to all go at once, but we were too excited. We paddled several canoes out to the ship. I would just say that this is 12 women and children. The captain welcomed us on board. He took our baskets and stacked them on the deck. The captain reached out and circled his fingers around my mother's arm. I think because she was the prettiest of us, she tried to pull away but could not. Other sailors rushed on deck and grabbed more of us. One wrapped his arm around my waist. I kicked until I twisted my way loose. We lived on the water, so even the youngest of us could swim. We knew what we were supposed to do. We were to jump into the river, swim to shore, and then run to the village. I pushed Yessie into the water. I picked up Aya and tossed her in the same direction, 2 sisters. Yessie floated for a few moments in the current and then circled her arms around Aya and took strong strokes towards the shore. Mother screamed at me to jump, but I couldn't leave her. I twisted the skin on the captain's arm and kicked his ankles until he yelped and let her go. Mother and I drove together into the river. I'm doing okay. Mother and I dove together into the river, but the captain grabbed my foot at the last minute. I slammed against the wooden side of the boat and blood poured from my nose. I couldn't breathe. The captain pulled me back into the ship. He held my arms tight. I struggled but couldn't pull loose. I was tied with thick ropes. The others who had escaped into the water were swimming under the surface with all the grace and strength of the pink dolphin. Yessie swam out and helped each one to shore. The captain ordered his sailors to paddle our canoes out to catch the runaways. The sailors jumped into the boats, paddling with their thick arms to easily overtake the women who remained in the water. They pulled them inside the canoes and held tight even as the women screamed and squirmed. My mother swam along the side of the ship in the opposite direction from the shore. When the canoes were far enough away, she climbed a line up the hull of the boat. She came for me, but my bounds were too tight. She struggled with the ropes until the captain saw her and attacked her. Arms grabbed, flailed. I watched as the captain pulled my mother's necklace from her and it fell to the deck. The captain swung an oar and split my mother's skull. Her blood spread across the deck toward me. I couldn't hold back the ugly sound in the back of my throat. I screamed as they threw her lifeless body into the river for the crocodiles to eat. My eyes scanned the shoreline. Yessie stood under the protection of the lupana trees. The trees were massive and could curse the evil spirits. Yessie handed Aya to the nearest woman and shooed the rest of the other women on their journey back to the village. But she did not want to leave without us. She rushed toward the water to save our mother. She swam to her, dragged her to shore, rocked her body in her arms. Blood covered Yessie's arms and face. She wailed. Our mother was gone to the sky place and nothing could be done. Yessie swam out into the river. She was coming to me until I shook my head no. I wanted Yessie to save herself and Aya. I wanted to tell her I was gone from her now. I wanted to tell her goodbye and wish her a good life. I wanted to tell her how much I loved her. From the shallows, Yessie raised her hands to me, and I knew she wanted to tell me these things too. She turned and ran into the grove. On the ship's deck, I saw my mother's necklace. I thought I could reach it. I extended my fingers, touched, and then grasped it. And that's what happened.